Hello everybody and welcome back to c0ntact versus North, the game before the Astralis game, just in case you're here waiting for that. Unfortunately, Stunna has lied to you. Man's a liar. But c0ntact are holding down on the ramp. They've got two players and Ship's going to try to bait them in. Three actually, in fact, and they've been torn apart. Ship's taking Kirby. Letney was tucked in the corner, ready to delete them just in case. And as AZ is left in a 1v3, that situation went pretty south pretty quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. AZ being left alone. This is looking like it should be fairly straightforward for c0ntact to close out, especially having that bomb control. I mean, if AZ had it, then maybe there would be some hope, but now he has to move back in. As soon as he's spotted, even if he gets that one kill quickly, then you'd imagine the other two players fully focused in. No damage as of yet being connected. Not sure if there could be someone over towards the ramp room either, so he's been a little bit more cautious of lobby, and when he finally gets one, as I said, the other two players already peeking in, so there's not a lot else to be done. He needed just instant headshots there to have any chance, and c0ntact don't allow it. They go up 1-0 here to kick off Nuke. And coming into this, I mean, it's an okay map for both teams, but especially with their recent results, they've both been quite shaky on it. I believe that North, okay, I'm mixing this up. One of them have managed to, unfortunately, lose their last 2 or 3 games on it. The other team have lost the majority of their games, only getting one victory against North in overtime. We were waiting so long because of some technical issues even before the start of this one that I forgot my points.
That's what I like.
It's been a long day for us already. It's been a long day for us.
That is what I like to hear.
We have a lot more to go. I'm excited for the next matchup, and I'm excited to see if North can put up a good T side here on Nuke.
Yeah, we're coming into the... Or actually, we're already in the 8th hour of the broadcast, so things do start to descend towards madness by the time we reach 9 or 10, which will be the Astralis Dignitas game, so good luck. But, yeah, for now, when you look at the results over Nuke, I think we can agree that it's going to be a little bit of a mid-ground, possibly favored towards North a little bit. We've had good performances from c0ntact, though, as well. They struggled on the T side of Vertigo, but it's not like North were clean there either. But coming into this one with a 2-0 start, as they really need, c0ntact shutting down the early aggression from North, and now we're in a spot where with weaker weapons they'll try to play this as a bit of a bonus round up against the AKs, and great nade damage early on towards outside. This smoke in play as well is going to make them very worried about somebody playing close around red, and it's going to cost North a lot of time as they move towards clearing outside, giving those SMGs a little bit of time. Get aggressive if they want to try and spot in towards main, but actually quite a passive hold all around, considering that early long contact that North are inching forward. I suppose at most only one player has been spotted, though. If any, actually.
Yeah, they're moving quite slowly. Letney is, of course, out here trying to actually spot for things, but they weren't really showing themselves. They had to smoke down the crossover towards red. There was some damage done, as you said, so that kind of indicates that they may have seen one, but even then it could have been the spam through the smoke. We unfortunately didn't catch it exactly. But they're beginning to move down in towards Secret eventually with those fire smokes down, giving them the opportunity to move in. There's going to be one player who has already rotated down because, of course, there was quite a bit of warning given the contact. And for now, Esperanto just trying to play to drop that smoke once he gets contact. Got a bit unfortunate with the timing that MSL had actually crossed to the close wall. So by the time he does actually spot one out, it's already too close. He gets hunted down, isn't able to drop the smoke, and the rest of the B defenses just crumbled as well. Otto and Letney left alive in a 2-on-5. And with weapons and not a lot of money, or at least not a lot of money in the case of Otto especially. Yeah, both of these players went down. They wouldn't be able to rebuy, so they do need to save their weapons. And you can see that was already called for. They begun to back away quite a while ago. I wouldn't imagine North will hunt at all either. They obviously want to try and keep 5 alive, and especially with, yeah, that was going to be my next point. The 3 of them barely hanging on to life already. It's not really something they can afford to do.
Yeah, this isn't a take the weapons out of the hands of the CTs. It's let's try not to die to the bomb. Alright, sub 25 HP on 3 players. They've got to exit fairly early. And that's where Otto could get himself some damage, but I imagine they're going to just sit in towards the secret entrance. They'll be safe up against the back of the stairs. Especially as the bomb is planted sort of in the back left of where Otto is now. You can see it on the map. So it's nice and far away, and the steps down below don't mean anything. Otto can't get aggressive. Certainly doesn't even want to. And with that 2-1, North do very well to survive with all those players, considering the damage that was done early. I mean, even just those nades on outside certainly indicated to me we would see a scrappy fight. But about as clean as can be. But that's what we
how
said.
they wanted it.
We did say it was a bonus round for contact, right? So this is where they're in that little bit of trouble. North are going to have to face up against the M4s now.
Yeah, that's ideal. That's why it makes it so ideal that they did live with 5, because it gives them that little bit of a buffer, because we see how often it happens. A team's able to get that first gun round, but if they only scrape it out, then there's a chance in the next for the other team to return and instantly get back into their winning ways. It gives North a little bit of a security blanket, I suppose, for themselves. But right now, the outside control, I believe, being the main focus, because they were already able to creep a player down intra-vent in the beginning of the round. I believe it was reacted to. I'm not 100% sure. Is there a player down there? Maybe not at the moment. It is actually just a lobby control being taken here for contact to actually try and counteract what they've lost towards outside. But yeah, there's a lot of room for North to move with. They've also got one player trapped in towards the spawn, completely blind. Otto had no idea. It took AZ a while to eventually capitalize on it, and so far that's actually the only kill North have been able to find. Emmy returns one, as did Esperanto, and with a bit of damage as well being done on towards AZ and Kirby. This is looking really good for contact to return it. Oh, this is a little dangerous. There's one player up in heaven. The other two are down on B.
Ships. He spurred the bomb planting. The spray was good to MSL for some damage, but it is still a tricky enough retake to get in for. With Kirby tucked in the window, MSL can... Oh, he's going to be caught up on top. They've seen him already. He's lit and he's dead. Now Kirby, once he's spotted, he's dead immediately as well. Ship swung and pre-fired him. But either way, he would at most get one frag, then they all know where he is. They can tap that bomb and just hold the doors. That would pretty much be the end of the round. The defuse and a 3-1 scoreline. Contact pulling ahead, and they're surviving with 4 players. So, where previously we had the force bias winning again and again, we're actually having teams not having to reinvest too much into the rounds after they win. Maybe we're going to see them trading it back again, because obviously North, oh, they're even getting an op out on MSL. I think he had 6k. Easily bought up.
And that goes back to, as I said, them surviving with 5 in that previous round. So they are feeling very happy about how clean that opening gun round was, but they're not feeling too happy overall, because they do still need to actually pick this one up. Otherwise, it would be, at that point, contact regaining pretty firm control here in the beginning of their CT side. It'd be a good opportunity for them to really start building up their lead and their economy. Looking like Otto is going to be the man to find inside. He may just try and time that shot. Not too far off. It was like a second later. He might have been able to connect it. The Molotov at least going to delay that crossover, and actually a second one going to be put in as well. So it's at least slowing North down. It's given time for, if they want to rotate, to actually rotate one down towards B. I don't believe they're bothering with it for now, though. Oh yeah, they already have Esperanto in position. So don't mind what I'm saying. That's the bomb, though, being dropped. Otto was able to take down the op of MSL, who for some reason had the bomb in his possession. Normally, you don't want that on the upper.
It's now down in the open, but they might just use that. It's being held as Gade tries to sneak through the smoke. The flash in play. Hello, Otto. Looks towards spawn for Letney, but not able to land the headshot. With Letney winning that duel, they keep the man advantage, but they've lost outside control. That's where Esperanto comes into things, sneaking up through secret. And it's not a secret anymore. He's taken down Cajun B. As AZ made it into heaven, now looks behind him, has to be worried about that player walking out, and below him and behind him, absolutely everywhere. Unfortunately, couldn't see Letney because of all those angles. Kirby in a 1v4, 30 seconds remaining, and no bomb, and no head anymore, which I feel like that makes it a little bit more unlikely. The op save forward as well for Esperanto, saves them a little bit of reinvestment.
Yeah, maybe if he was like a chicken, he'd have a few extra seconds to run around and find some kills.
It'd be an interesting game mode. When you die,
well, you die
white.
and you have a couple extra seconds to try and still get a kill.
It's like you have to spray full
It'd be
blind.
so infuriating. You'd be so angry if you kill someone and they end up getting you afterwards. So I don't know if it'd be interesting, per se. I don't think that's the word I put on it. But this round, anyway, it shouldn't be too interesting to watch. It is mostly just pistols here for North. But they are bringing it over towards Secret again. That's a position, obviously, where those pistols can fight up close. But Esperanto, the flank is perfectly timed. You hear lots of footsteps knowing that, okay, that should be all 5 of them by this point crossed. Peeks out, has 2 easily. And with ships already rotated down, they're able to actually deny them from moving any further forward. So instead, North just stuck around Secret, actually beginning to move back outside, where again, it's going to be Esperanto to find them, only adding 1 more to his total tally for the round, though, before eventually going down. And that's an M4. I mean, this is dangerous. Letney's out in the open taking the fight. Just about lives on 13 health. I'm not expecting Emmy, at least not the first player.
As one way to roll, contact with the early CT side built up. And again, with the fact that they're surviving on so many players, the money is built up as well. You're seeing Emmy in there with the same dominant performance we saw coming onto Inferno, but who's backing him up is Esperanto. Only found those 2 eco frags, but it was the playthrough secret that really secured one of the earlier rounds, making it down there with the aggression, although they lost Auto, I believe it was. Yeah, it would have been Auto with the op towards outside and garage. Immediately, Esperanto starts to go for the flank up behind them. Caught off the bomb, won the round, and North with a timeout attempting to figure out their issues. They've got a lot of cash to play around, so the AKs were coming out no matter what. Kirby can afford full nades as well. Yeah. Oh, he's missing a flash. Not the worst. But we do need to see North stepping it up a little bit. They're definitely falling behind in the fragging department in pretty much all of the rounds. I mean, AZ single-handedly in both maps has been pulling a lot of the weight for their team.
In all 3 maps. I mean, he's been fragging really well. We've had moments from here. Even MSL has had his moments as well, but it hasn't been enough. They haven't been consistent enough with that performance in contact so far. At moments have looked like the better team. It's been strange because it's always kind of been one half being controlled by a team overall. We never really see it being a very competitive half. It's kind of, okay, you can have this half, we'll fight back in on the second one. But I mean, yeah, contact, at least this time, it is the CT side where they're getting themselves off to a good start. It was the same back on Vertigo as well, but they unfortunately weren't able to keep it in a strong position, so you'll be hoping that they can this time. A little bit more money, having actually taken rounds a lot cleaner than they were overall back on Vertigo. That's kind of the difference maker. Again, though, outside control being the goal for North, at least for a couple of the players. The other 3 are grouping up towards ramp, so it's looking like it will be that B split.
Having successfully made it down into secret, I think you're probably right. The push. So here's the thing: they hear the steps of ships going down the ramp, but a second player is already rotated into position. I thought maybe that would bait them in, but it looks like they want to go through squeaky door down vent. Gonna have to walk forward. They've got flashes, they've got smokes, molly as well, and they're mollied off. How do they get down there now without a smoke in play? They don't really have any other option than to go towards the ramp as Cajun B gets caught off, sticking around squeaky door. But they've actually pulled the player off of ramp over towards heaven. Now they're down, and Ships is the only one here to defend. Caught in the back by MSL from ramp, and that's going to be the plans. The drop not working out for Emmy either, and all of a sudden a man advantage left for North. They got that bomb down with about 4 seconds to spare.
Yeah, in a very close situation, and with the man advantage, just gives them a great spot to try and win out the after plan. I mean, the money for Esperanto, at least, isn't in a great spot, so with not being able to find the kill quickly, I think they've already decided that they're just going to back away and save. They want to play this as safe as they possibly can, knowing that what really did begin to cost them at one point on Vertigo was the fact that they had their economy broken on that CT side, and it let North build back up a really strong offensive side for themselves. So just carrying over the AKs if they can. I think they were trying to do a bit of damage as well. Esperanto not going to be successful, taken down by Gade, who was chilling in secret. Indeed he was. I presume that's his body right there in front of them. So a second round for North, 4 players surviving. Again, they're able to take one cleanly, giving them that little bit of security, but there does still have to be a bit of reinvestment coming in onto Cajun B. One more death, and he could be Cajun Bond, by the way.
Fair. No need to call him out like that, Dean. You always got to be that guy, don't you?
He's having a slow start. It's still relatively early in the map, to be fair, but on the third map of the series, it's not what you want to see.
Now look at this, the smoke that's been thrown a couple of times by Contact, this time used to aggress around Gade. Ready for it, but not ready for the headshot that came through immediately afterwards. But with a player above on Silo and MSL on the boxes, there was no way Letney could have been ready for it. The trade, good for the T side, but Ships quick to pull one back. There's a bit of aggression on the A side. ERB falls and end up in a position now where North are trying to scramble to at least have a positive to take away from this. Outside control would be it. And for the moment it seems secure, but there is still an op working around. Otto looking for an opportunity as they cross over. Not yet granted that. A flash pushed the player into the corner, but he's waiting. Has to be careful of the wide swing from further back. The flash again connecting. Nobody peeking. Smoke down. They know there's a player close. They're going to molly left side to stop the swing across. And nicely handled. Auto double op shots. And Esperanto quickly taking down AZ as he tried to swing towards red. The molly kept him in the open that little bit longer, even if he was able to find the frag, so that Auto probably could have traded back. And 6-2. For the T side to struggle this much early on, it's not a terrible sign. I mean, North are still in very early territory. They can definitely pull back into a workable spot. But at this rate, they do need to step up just that small bit. Bringing it up, winning themselves around here. You got to remember, they're not going to face an eco because c0ntact have been surviving so many of these rounds with the majority of their players that they've got a lot of cash.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, nearly rolling in money. It's not quite that good. I don't know if I want to use that exactly because there's still a couple players who don't have a lot themselves, but there's enough there for the Gutters to be able to drop over and such if it is needed. But yeah, I mean, it's just not looking good from North so far here on this T side, and we did get Cajun Bond. It's still, again, relatively early on, so there's still an opportunity for him to step up. Perhaps he could be the shake-up that they need here on the T side for them to really start stirring up some trouble.
Oh, here we go. Ship sticking around, though, even after finding 1, 2, and eventually goes down. Not really a worthwhile trade, all in all.
Yeah, not really. I mean, the op at least being found for North there, it's going to be put in the hands of AZ, so that's a decent find for them. Perhaps they can use that to find another opening, but overall, that push that they had planned has been severely slowed down. And with Letney catching Kirby, suddenly it's a 2-on-4. North are, again, severely outmatched in this gun round. Number 2-1. That shot actually is connected by AZ through the corner of the wall. Letney down to 41, but he is able to live for now, so that's kind of the main thing.
It just felt like Shipsa, after he finds the first sticking around, was very, very risky. For the second, he traded out at that point, essentially, one extra kill for the AWP, which could have been a big game changer for North, although it hasn't played nearly as big of a role as we thought maybe it could. As Esperanto shuts down the final two coming in through main, that is going to be 7-2 on the board, and North again in a position where they're not able to get as convincing of a buyout. With a double op setup, though, c0ntact could be in a little bit of trouble. North likely to buy pistols and utility. They can afford util and armor alongside whatever pistols they desire. And clearly the Tech 9s are making a big resurgence these days. They're back in fashion. You're then in a little bit of a shaky spot with those double ops. Luckily only 2 smokes, so we're not going to see quite as much as maybe we could have. And just a fast play out main is what's going to come through. The spray from up above. Emmy's good for 1. They hadn't spotted AZ on the site. Not a player you want to leave unchecked as he's already got himself a double. But as he's on 25 health...
Nearly saved. Esperanto dropped to 1.
I thought he wasn't going to do anything there, and although in the grand scheme of things he didn't, yeah, 1 HP left, I would call that a little bit of a close cut.
Yeah, I mean, there was a chance there. If they had got that extra kill, the damage would have been fairly handy. Again, though, there is still some money left. The reinvestment easily being allowed. The last couple of rounds haven't been a bit closer. At least that one right there, only 3 surviving. It kind of forces them to just spend in what they had from that round. They're not really going to be earning a lot, but they're just staying around the same level, which is still pretty decent for them. Considering they're up 8-2 right now. Looking for more. Of course, North coming back onto the full buy here. They are actually looking for the outside control, and how they're doing so, I think they might be setting themselves up for a potential quick A split, and indeed, yeah, actually beginning to come out of already. Kirby gets 2. That's the openings that they need. There's still 1 man alive around the vents, which they didn't know. Emmy pulls back a double as well. AZ fights back in from outside, so they do have the man advantage again. And as I say that, it's actually all left on Ships now, caught off guard by MSL on the bomb site, but that got a little bit too dicey after Emmy pulled back a double.
It's always AZ, man. Every time. It seems like when they win a round, certainly the round that gets them back up there and feeling positive about things, you think over to Vertigo with a 4K, that all of a sudden they started stringing rounds together afterwards. AZ's the one they rely on. Maybe
well,
Cajun
Kirby
B
got
as
2
well.
big openings there. You have to mention that.
Cajun's still to get a frag on the board. He's definitely having a rough game.
He's got an assist, though. So.
There you go. He helped. Doing his bit.
60 and ADR. He's not having a great time, but then again, we can't really just be pointing out Cajun B when it's
Of course.
really everyone who isn't performing. AZ's the only one up there in 11. As I said, Kirby had a good round in the previous, but he was on 2 kills before that as well. So it's an all-around thing here from North. But they still have a chance. I mean, they can recover back up to even 5 or 6 rounds here on the T side. It is still achievable. Unfortunately, not having a great start. Otto actually finds the open, and MSL will at least try it back with his AWP. So they keep it in the 4-on-4, which for the T side is a pretty happy position to be in, especially as they catch Esperanto trying to push up through Secret. Not expecting that, I guess, after the contact had been found around lobby.
Yeah, it seems to be a consistent factor. Once Otto especially is gone from the equation outside, you can rely on Esperanto coming in through Secret. And that's exactly what North have figured out. They've added 1-and-1 together. c0ntact going to have to switch up their CT side a little bit. Very fortunate openings towards that main aggression. Led them into such a positive spot. Still 2 players on the A bomb side to contend with. They pick up one. Letney, they know he plays this side, and as he's already found a kill, they were sure to check him. Tips taken down, continuing to aggress, puts North on 4. And they are definitely still in the fight. As we said when it was 6-2, there's a lot of room for them still to come back in and have a decent half. Honestly, 1 round, if c0ntact invest right now.
I was just about to say, I wanted to see them take like a half by here, keep the damage onto the economy, keep it at least modest for North. And then focus on pulling back to 10-5 half. Because if they were to lose this one, if they bought here, at that point it's 5 for North. If they win it, it's 6 off the back of it, because you would have to finally see the eco coming in. I don't think it'd be worthwhile to be giving away too much. Although, of course, playing it the way they taking an eco here even is a risk, because if the next gun round doesn't work out, then they're still screwed.
True, yeah,
and yeah, they're going to go for it. I couldn't actually see what they were buying in the overview.
Either way, it's going to end up in a spot where the purchase has to work, right? Or North are already buying themselves back into a good spot on the T side, despite a very positive beginning for c0ntact. With a double op setup coming into play on Otto and Ships, there's a lot of weight on their shoulders. Their utility limited Ships, who's playing towards ramp, doesn't have a molly to work with, so he requires a little bit of backup. Actually, Otto, they've got both ops on ramp.
Yeah, and with the A-rush coming in, it was Emmy and Esperanto entrusted with holding it. Esperanto came through that main smoke, I believe, to at least get 1 trade, but once he goes down, they're left in a 3-on-4. They don't have a kit. They have the double up setup, not really something that you want to be retaken with, and they're immediately forced to call for the save. So that is now 5 for North, and with 2,400 only coming in the next round here for c0ntact, it's unlikely that they're going to buy around these saved weapons. I think we likely will see them just take the eco, and at that point give 6 over to North and just hope to fight back in for 9. Obviously, with the saved weapons, they'll still have a chance in this next round. Although with the double up setup in play, they might still want to buy around it, because they wouldn't have that in the next round unless they're able to actually save it over again. So it's just a very difficult spot to be in. This is why I'm not a professional player. I don't have to make this decision. I just have to speculate.
I'm pretty sure what they'll go for is Otto and Ships, or at least 2 of the players dropping over FAMAS to each Emmy and Esperanto, and then buying up utility around it, because they'll still get full util. They'll get themselves kits, armor, everything they could want. It's not that big of a downgrade, really, considering you're getting a free double op setup, essentially. And you're unlikely to save them again coming into the next round. And yeah, already a FAMAS making it to Emmy. Same thing should be there for Esperanto. But all in all, for c0ntact, you know, giving North that 5th round, it hurts. But they, whoops. Okay, invested fully into utility. I disagree with this. Otto and Ships both with full util instead of Esperanto having a FAMAS. I would much rather him have a rifle than an op or have utility to play around. Ships needed it. Otto playing... Oh, Ships is playing outside now. Excuse me. Otto was playing inner. So I think the player inner could take it. The player outside could survive without it, especially as he'd have players there to support him. Otto coming up through Secret. That barrel just spotted. That's a free kill. Big mistake.
I don't think it's going to cost North in the round, as AZ actually catches Ships. That was a flashover as well to help him out from MSL, so good teamwork to ensure the op is neutralized from really being able to do anything. That just leaves Emmy and Esperanto now with their Deagle, with the FAMAS. And I mean, going into the next round here for c0ntact, even if they save what little they have right now, it's still not really going to give them a very good investment to fight into that final round. So it's a tough spot. North, after having a poor start, they have the opportunity to still bring it back to 7, but they do have to come out on top of this one. Obviously, the bomb is yet to be actually brought onto one of the sites. It is getting ready to go towards A. Emmy and Hell right now not going to spot them as they creep into main, but he will now hear the Molotov being thrown in, and obviously Esperanto getting contact, goes down, I know Emmy's alone. There's a player waiting in heaven for him as well, which he may not be aware of, although AZ isn't really watching it. He's actually going to flash out, making sure there was no one hiding on the bomb site itself. Does turn around just in time to catch Emmy. And there it is, 6 for North. The potential for a 7th, as I said, being quite high now off the back of that.
Potential is definitely there for North. They want it. They don't need it necessarily. 6 on the board, they've already recovered themselves to a position where you can be pretty happy. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would have been counting them out after those first couple of gun rounds went down. Things weren't looking quite as squeaky clean as you would maybe hope for, but that is the nature of the T side. It can be slow to start. It's like an oven. It's got to warm up, but once it gets to the right temperature, it is cooking. And North at the moment, they are grilling c0ntact alive. Yes, I'm aware. No, an oven doesn't grill. All right. Unless you've got a grill oven, but you got to warm that separately. Unless you got grill and oven at the same time. They're separate parts.
The grill does be above the oven usually.
You can have the same on, both on at the same time though. I don't know if you cook things that way. I don't know. I just said grilling them and I thought someone was going to go, actually an oven doesn't grill. Yeah, anyways, 8-6. North, they're moving along. They've got outside control. Great nade returned over to them though. Look at that. MSL and Cajun B, they ate that.
Oh, the flash hits Cajun there. Not going to allow him to move down secret too quickly. We can see there's no one really holding this angle, I don't believe, right now anyway, but he doesn't want to risk it, just in case, knowing that there is some weaker weapons in play. There is someone around the corner, but not on the stairs themselves. A good setup, though. Auto being in this position, yeah, he actually spots that player dropping off a main. There is a smoke down, so it's not really letting Emmy give him too much help. He just spams through and does at least a small bit of damage. And I mean, with a few players being tagged up here, I was going to say it is a decent start for c0ntact, especially with the time beginning to run down, but MSL immediately taking a headshot on the up and does manage to actually pull the man advantage in favor of North, and now they're setting themselves up for the ace. But look at this, Ships, he could have a chance to hold this one, just not expecting the second. He will go down, focused in towards heaven. Letney only able to find the dink as he also falls, and that leaves Emmy and Esperanto with the MP9s now to try and save the day. They're both around this A side of the map. At least Esperanto was in the vent. He was trying to make his way up, but won't be allowed. 8-7 at the halftime. A fantastic recovery from North, and now going into the second half, c0ntact, I'm a little bit worried for them. They've lost the momentum. Will they be able to pick it back up now moving on to the second half is the question. Of course, guys, we are going to take a break for a couple of minutes, so we'll have to wait to find out.
lost and all alone. Time's not kind and it won't let go. No thoughts left in my head. My mind's not mine and it won't forget. But you bring me back from my darkness black. Cause the soul in me and the heart I have for you. It bleeds for you, it beats again. Oh, you bring me to life. 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 Bring me to life.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the pistol round going live here between c0ntact and North. And I think c0ntact towards the end of that half, man, they just got deep fried in a toaster. Rushing on out, Letney, he's tapping away. And eventually they find the kills, but it took a little bit. AZ's in position now, he's tapping away at heads as well. But not able to get the kills, just the double. Does it pull it back enough? Kirby and MSL say yes. MSL from above domes out the finale. 8-8. North take it. And they've got a streak of rounds in a row now, Dean. I mean, if I'm c0ntact, I'm starting to get a little bit worried.
Very at this point. What was it? It was the 5 final rounds of that previous half in favor of North after having a pretty poor
like
start
that.
for themselves. Then being able to, it was 5. I'm having a look at it here. I have the default HUD. I don't know if it shows up on your one, but I am able to see it because of that. So it's been 6 now in a row with them taking that pistol. Obviously, you do normally have to expect to come up against the force buy. This time, though, we're not going to see it from c0ntact. Not getting the bomb down, they decide they just want to come in with a single upgraded pistol there for Esperanto. He has himself the Deagle. So maybe he can pick off a player or two, at least make it a costly round. But they are mostly focused on this next one, where they will be able to get those rifles into play. But we see a relatively safe approach from North as well, going for 3 FAMASs, an M4, and then just the 1 MP9. So they still have weapons overall that'd be quite viable in this next round against AKs.
This round itself is essentially a forfeit. You're probably not going to see a whole lot coming through from c0ntact as they look for outside control early for someone pushing up. A little bit of a delay in moving through, obviously, just to avoid those early nades that you see so frequently thrown by teams. Specifically when you're in the in those first, well, I mean across most rounds, but when you win the initial, if you've got frag grenades, more particularly if you've gone for like 2 to 3 SMGs, you're gonna lob a frag towards outside at the start of the round before they shut them down, just in case they are moving in. MSL barely makes it around the corner. Glock out though. It's an easy trade to come through. Luckily from above, Gade was there, the Guardian Angel, the Gadian Angel, to bring him into a 4v2, and they've already got some decent damage done by taking MSL down, but you can see Esperanto wants to work that Deagle and catch an extra pick. Cation B feeling a little bit froggy coming up the ramp. He's gonna get
There
away
we
with
go.
it. About.
That's a little bit shaky. It looked like Esperanto had the chance to connect some Deagle shots, but I think he was going for the wall banger or something through a little bit of the kind of fence at the top of the ramp right there, so wasn't really able to connect any damage in the end. Overall, though, 1 kill coming in for a $700 of investment there from Esperanto. That was it. I don't think they'll really be too upset with that now as they come onto the full gun round for themselves. And obviously, this is their opportunity. If they take this one, they can actually have a chance to get together a couple of rounds early on their T side. You would see Gade being left on a double eco. MSL's buy would be quite weak, so they'd scrape together probably what they could. But obviously North, they don't want to let any round slip anytime soon. It's already been 7 in a row, and they want to add more to that. Kirby does find the opening towards outside, catching Esperanto. Emmy's about to follow up through the smoke with the bomb. What the hell? I'm presuming he didn't realize he had the bomb right there, but now Otto and Letney on low health are left in their impossible position to try and pull back in their favor.
With the low HP as well, I mean, you can pretty much count this round as gone. MSL with 1. And Letney's got it all to do. A 1v5. An ace clutch on 16 health. That'd be the day. They're just taking this so slow. MSL shouldn't be peeking again, nor should Kirby, but you've got AZ in position. They've pushed up ramp. They've got main control. There's really just no way out. See what damage he can get done. Take a couple of weapons out of their hands. That'd be ideal. Almost there with the one taps. You see, he doesn't even bother spraying. He knows that if he gets into an actual duel, he's just going to lose. So if he's not hitting that instant headshot, it's over.
Oh, this is just heartbreaking. It's kind of being how it's going so far throughout this entire series. You never really see a lot of fight from a team in a half. It seems like one team has the momentum for quite a while. If it shifts, then it kind of stays like that as well for a decent period before you see the other team being able to get their own confidence back. And obviously this isn't something that c0ntact can actually allow to happen here, because it is the final map of this series. North right now have got themselves a pretty solid lead, and it's likely to be extended to 11-8 before again the guns are available. But there's one kill. Emmy actually over towards ramp, able to find the frag. It does give them an AK as well to work with. Not going to be successful in the hands of Emmy, but it has been retrieved yet again. And the deagle there from Otto, true door, absolutely destroys Kirby. Letney tries to drop down and follow up on Gade, but he was ready for that. So it has been returned into the 2-on-2. But if you're looking at the health right now, you realize it certainly is favoring c0ntact, and they've been able to get this bomb planted now down on B. Oh, MSL has a fight against Otto. He has to try and win this out if he wants to make his way down ramp, and it's not going to be allowed. It's all on Gade.
A lot of work to do. He's already shut down the one. That was Letney trying to drop on him from above. This time a much harder fight as he breaks through. They know where he is now. Lobbing the flash in towards the ramp, but no idea that Chips is up close. And the spray lights him to 22 health. That's it. He knows he's out of this game already. He's being hunted, but he makes it around the corner. Otto was hot on his heels, but decides instead to just exit up on ramp. He's got just enough time to bail back. And we're going to reach 11. Sorry, we're going to reach 9 rounds there for c0ntact, holding North back from 11. But still with a lot of money left for that CT side for them to invest. Not a round that they should have lost, though. c0ntact investing so little and getting such a high reward from it. They easily get their AKs and everything they could possibly want from that.
Look at North's scoreboard.
It is slightly top-heavy. Just
a little bit. Ooh. It's surprisingly as well that it's MSL that's up there in second. He's been playing really good throughout the entire series. I think more so than people would be expecting of him. Unfortunately, here on Nuke, the other ones. Yeah, even back on Inferno, he was having quite a bit of impact. 10-9, c0ntact able to steal that previous way around, obviously giving themselves a very important lifeline that they do need now to try and fight back into this. But they're still up against a pretty strong buy here from North. So if North can return this one, then I don't think they'll be too worried. But if c0ntact are able to chain together the 2 rounds here to break the economy of North, then suddenly they're likely putting themselves back into the lead. So this round is extremely important, and nicely timed Molotov. Gonna do a bit of damage onto 3 players, and of course also give a bit of info that there was some players there. They would have heard that tick. Oh, Kirby's coming up behind. They will likely have no idea that this is happening. I mean, they should know they had no one watching for it, of course, so they should be somewhat cautious, and I believe Ships was just moving back in. He just didn't expect Kirby to be quite as close as he was.
Huge work now in the 5v4. They managed to take Kirby down in the end, going up on top of T roof and finding that trade back. Now they think, and probably know, realistically, they've got outside control. Moving out, though, somewhat cautiously in case the AWP of MSL is lurking around, but it's only Cajun spotting it passively from afar. Otto is the one to go out. They've smoked it off. Not quite well, but luckily they'll have Otto holding that. Unfortunately, the gap has cost him his life. As AZ sees him and takes him out, the molly had kept the rest of the team back. Nice angle above for Gade, and they're just walking one at a time in. Eventually, Esperanto can trade, but he's got to win the round 1v3 and can't get it done. That was messy from c0ntact. A missed smoke, then just pushing out of door one at a time, up until Esperanto eventually goes out with decent spacing on one of his teammates.
Yeah, I think they're kind of losing the outside control there initially. Panicked them a little bit, and once they did get moving forward, as you said, just weren't looking as tight-knit as a team as we've come to expect of them over some moments of this game. Anyway, as we said, it's been a little bit of an awkward one for them for the last while, at least. They're having lost, what is it, 9 of the last 10 rounds now, only taking that previous one for themselves off the weaker bye, which is surprisingly where we see teams have the success a lot of the time when they are kind of being stomped on completely, just because, as we've said before, you don't really feel the same pressure when you have those weaker weapons. You're not expecting as much of yourself, so you're willing to take some more risks and such. They do again scrape out the full investment here, but if this one doesn't work and if they're not able to at least get a bomb plant behind it, then they're definitely looking at an eco in the next. So this is an opportunity for North. If they do take this, they go up to a 13-9 lead. So this one's very important for c0ntact if they don't want to really let this one begin to slip away from them again. Nades-wise, it's also not ideal. They have 3 smokes, so I mean that gives them the option for the outside control if they want, but they'd be using all of them. Also lacking helmets onto at least one player. It is Letney.
Marcel's in trouble. Missing that second shot right between Letney's legs. The helmet didn't matter at all. And a 4 versus 4 as c0ntact move quickly down towards the B bomb site. There are already players here in observation room. Asian B banks off down towards the double doors himself, and AZ look to stop the plant. The spam is good and eventually catches Letney, but not before that bomb's being planted. So they do have to push back out.
Oh, the spam getting relatively close to Otto. Not quite on point, so they just left the 3 men standing now. Try and hold this after plant, but the Molotov going in to force ships out into the open. If he could have survived a little bit longer, that flank of Esperanto perhaps could have pounced, but it still has the chance to do so. The issue is he is all alone. Gets the first, and unfortunately not able to follow up on the second. He had the chance maybe for the one-on-one again, just couldn't quite react in time. Asian B was ready to follow up with the trade frag, and there is, of course, plenty of time for that defuse. 12-9, North are able to get themselves another round. The bomb did at least get planted, so that's going to let them buy once again. You can see the only man who's really struggling is Emmy, and even then, he can get the AK and Kevlar as long as he doesn't need any nades behind it, which obviously he would prefer to have, but they have nades elsewhere. It's not too bad of a buy overall from c0ntact. He goes for the Galil, willing to get the extra few nades. Makes sense.
c0ntact are in for a little bit of a thrifty buy, but it's only really the utility that they're hurting for. They're saying they're using it early towards the outside control, looking to push on forward, but Kierby, look at his position. He snuck past the smokes up on top of red, almost. Just one jump away. Here's a player to the side. Otto didn't spot him either. They have no idea about this, but with the smoke phase, he has to jump and take that shot! A second kill as well! And not worried about his back either, because his teammates are watching a good nade to Letney, and although he goes down, he's already done his job.
Yeah, plenty, and MSL is still here. He's positioned himself in towards credit card. He spots the bomb actually coming around the corner on the back of ships and will be able to drop it. Doesn't live much longer himself. Letney is able to at least return as the bomb himself now, as he will need an ace clutch if he actually wants to make this round happen, so it's not too likely. But who knows, if they make some mistakes, perhaps he could have the chance. There's a decent amount of time to work with, but I believe he has been flanked out right now. Yeah, I mean, not being silent though. Did he hear Gade? Yeah, his teammate must have said it or something. It looked like he was a little bit delayed on the reaction himself. But the noise was heard of him jumping up on towards Silo. That Molotov nicely timed in towards A main to stop Letney from being able to go that way. Instead, he's going to head over towards Hell. Could wrap up into Heaven if he wanted to. Or could creep it down ramp to B. There is one player down towards the side of the map being AZ, because he positioned himself in case, of course, Letney went down through secret.
He's going down towards that B site.
With the Glock,
10
surprisingly.
seconds. It's about time, right? He wants to shift walk a little bit faster.
A tiny bit of extra speed, yeah.
He's done. As soon as that door opens. He knew that if he took c0ntact, it was over anyways. As soon as they heard him stepping down, they were just going to peek, delay him, rotate, and he'd never get that bomb planted. So probably his best option in that situation, but still pretty bad situation. Well, now we look at 13-9. North rocking in with the decent buy they've got. MSL, again, has been impressing us so far. His T-side opping much better than I've seen in the past. And then what we expected coming into this series. But AZ, standout map after map. There's that nade we were talking about earlier, not doing a lot of damage. c0ntact had been avoiding it. But Kierby, again, aggressive. Flash goes around. Not actually on the right side of red. But still, it stops his teammates from trading through, I guess. Well, for a moment.
Yeah, until Otto's able to get one. That actually gives them the rifle as well. It is retrievable. With the smoke down, Cajun B couldn't really see the players retrieving that. So an M4 and an AK in play now for c0ntact, giving them definitely a much better chance in this round. They're very happy with the fact that they were able to get the 1-for-1 trade. And, I mean, having some nades as well. A smoke, 2 flashes, couple Molotovs as well. And they're just grouping back up in towards lobby. Do they want to bring it onto A or in towards ramp is the question. If they go towards ramp, there's no one actually watching it actively. I think they're only now sending MSL back in towards hell. So yeah, he will be positioning himself now, but I don't think that's the goal. And you can see they are setting themselves up to move in towards the A bomb site, and the first point of contact is going to be Gay. He has help coming in pretty quickly from heaven, but he's not able to get one before he actually falls. So now it's going to be c0ntact who furiously fights to try and pull back one kill, but it's not going to be allowed. Instead, AZ up through the vent finds two. The bomb will be planted, so that's a small positive for c0ntact, but not one that they're going to be happy with when they are likely going to be given over 14 to North unless c0ntact comes up massive with the deagle, and that is not going to be allowed. Overall, a good bit of success for them being found, but a little unfortunate. It looked like they maybe could have had a slightly better chance there. They had the man advantage at one point. 14 to 9, they're back onto the bye, but this could be it. I mean, if they don't win this gun round, then they're going into the next one, probably with guns again, especially if they're able to get the bomb plant. But they likely would have at least a few weaknesses. So this is probably their best chance, especially if they want to win this, if they want to actually win this during regulation. Of course, c0ntact at that point can't drop another, otherwise they're fighting for overtime.
Yeah, that's it. c0ntact have to make the stop here, make it happen. North gonna try to put the final nail in the coffin. An AWP for MSL, the same buy we've seen again and again. It's costing them somewhat, losing a couple of players every time, but surviving with 3 in the last gives them at least still that little bit of a buffer. c0ntact have got a lot to recover. They want to be walking away with the win in this one. Smoke on outside. Cross about to be smoked as well, but whether they're going there or not, I'm not so sure about. I think they threw the cross way too early. Possibly to bait out the Molotov that we saw going in. But also to get that player that was close back. See if there was going to be any aggression. A KRB crossing the red or something like that. And it looks like we're just blitzing out into A main afterwards. Straight through T. Emmy setting up for the utility to come in from above. With 45 seconds. Oh, they're actually moving towards ramp to take a little bit of control as well. So faking out outside control and then main to move in through ramp. Curious. 2 players on B. Having seen the outside smokes earlier, they will have dropped down. I think they've rotated the enemy into the position they want to hit.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's not gone well for them. AZ is just tapping heads from the back of the site, and they still have c0ntact up close who they don't even know about. So this is not going to be easy. There we go. They found one. c0ntact is still just looking in towards dark. They actually do clear it. Both players trying to peek in, but just a little bit disjointed. c0ntact is able to transfer on towards the second. Otto is, of course, at this point being hurt in defense, and it doesn't even matter because he doesn't have time. Forced to retreat away and save that up into what could be the final round of this map and series as North, they've taken themselves up to 15.
They have indeed. And although we saw a close 2 maps, this one is painting out a much bleaker picture for c0ntact. Coming back in with 6 consecutive rounds is one hell of a task. Not one that's too easily believed. Light utility as well, just the 3 smokes. So even faking outside would just give them nothing to play with in the later half of the round. Being spotted out. If they do move forward in towards door, which they do, as AZ quickly eliminates Emmy. Swings through for a second, even with his low HP, and Otto quickly reacts on the AWP to take Gate out. They hear the player drop the site. MSL's in trouble! I don't know how he hits that so quickly, but not able to follow up on site. Okay, if he doesn't find that, it was all over, but Ship's now in a 1v2. And he can go wherever he wants. He's got the bomb, but a difficult 1v2 to win.
Incredibly difficult, and there it is. North with a great CT side are able to close it out 16 to 9. It was 8 to 2 at one